Okay. Ryan Nesbit.
I'll just follow you.
All right. Well, if you're all right with it, get us started by just telling me what childhood was like for you.
Well, childhood, Dunkerton, Iowa, so very rural Iowa, farm state. Um, Dunkerton's like 850 people, so your traditional small town Iowa. Five siblings. It's like the picture of what an Iowa kid looks like. I'm number five. You get beat on by your older siblings, which makes you tougher
Yeah.
later in life. Uh, it was good. I mean, you hate it when you're living it because you got to work and do chores, etc. If my older siblings listen to this, they'll say, "Man, you don't do nothing because you were number five." But I do respect now as an adult and having my own kids. It's important to work. It's important to get up at 5 or 6 in the morning. So farm life's good. Strict parents, great people. My mom passed away, I think, about 11 years ago now to cancer. My dad's still alive in Dunkerton, Iowa. He's a young 81 or so, great man. But childhood's good. Parents made mistakes. They know it. I'm a parent now. I make mistakes.
Yeah.
I know it. That's part of life. But I'm very thankful I grew up on a farm just because of the work ethic mainly.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, I did not grow up on a farm, but I respect that. Yeah, man. All right, cool. Yeah, what was school like growing up then?
Another small town Iowa that's everybody's in one building.
Yeah.
Like K through 12, which Dunkerton is still there. They're still a school by themselves, which is kind of weird because a lot of the schools we like competed against growing up are now tied together.
Mm-hmm.
Sumner, Fredericksburg, Dike, New Hartford.
Yeah.
All the alphabet soup. Some of these schools where they have like 7 different letters of 7 small towns. OABCIG. I think that's one school name, and nobody knows what those all stand for. But that's a small town school with 7 different towns. I mean, it's cool to have good friends because you know everybody.
Yeah.
You literally probably know almost every person's name in the school.
Intimately.
The whole school, where now in adulthood I travel and meet a lot of people. I know a young lady from Louisiana. She had 800 people in her class.
Holy smokes.
Like, that's more people than the whole town of Dunkerton, which is unreal. But we're small town. So it's good. It's good to have friends because they're kind of for life, actually, because you know each other so well. And now it's kind of neat. We live in Jessup, Iowa, which is about 2,500 people. I mean, that's pretty small to most people listening to this, too. So I really like the small town because we did in adulthood live in Ankeny, Iowa, which is close to Des Moines. Great town, great neighborhood, great church. There's just so many people, man. There's like 70,000 people. That's one of the reasons we moved away. But I could literally run across town faster than you can drive because there's so many stoplights.
Yeah.
And it just drives me crazy. Like, we're going to church. It's time to go to church is like a 4-mile drive. Like, I should just run there because I'll get there faster than you will.
Yeah.
So that's a pro of small town Jessup, Iowa with 1 stoplight.
Yeah.
Only 1 stoplight.
Yeah. Did you have a unique group of friends that you just hung out with in school growing up, or were you just friends with everybody?
I think you're kind of friends with everybody. Of course, your stupid cliques emerge as they still do.
Yeah.
And I don't think I figured that out till maybe junior or senior year of high school. Like, all these people are pretty cool and nice. Why don't we just hang out with everybody?
Yeah.
Well, you're the freak, you're the athlete, you're in music, you're the star grade, whatever. It was like 34 people. Just be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
So I think we need to do that now. Why can't we just be nice to everybody?
Everybody's a human, right?
All the time. Just be, especially small town Iowa, wherever. That's kind of a big problem, as we're going to get into a lot of mental health stuff with this podcast. Some kid leaves their school, a young lady, and she's just the prettiest thing in Podunk, Iowa town, and walks around town with her nose in the air because she's smoking hot, and she goes to University of Iowa. Ooh, you're going to get lost real fast in the shuffle because there's thousands of you there. But if that girl is kind, loving, good friend, person of character, people are going to come to you then.
Yeah.
It's this small town. I'm the best basketball player. man, nobody cares.
Yeah, you're not bringing very much value to your next friendship just being a good basketball player, right?
That is 100% accurate. So that's a big part of growing up rural Iowa. Um, but I had an awakening, I think, around my freshman year where I'm tough. I'm a starting basketball player at Dunkerton, Iowa. I'm Michael Jordan. I'm the greatest thing ever. And I swear this is true. I said it at my mom's funeral. One night on the kitchen table, she put her arm up in an arm wrestling mode because I'd been strutting around. Oh, I'm 14. I'm the next great thing. And she stuck me to the table. Real story, for real. Strong woman, farm background. She was tough, man, physically strong. And that was kind of an eye opener, like, whoa.
I was probably the same age when my mom flexed on me for the first time. And it's not, I don't know how to say this, but it's just not a fun thing to have happen to you as a young man.
It was an eye opener. Man, she was tough, which was good. Maybe that humbled me a little bit.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that stuff in sports now. I don't know how much we'll go into that. I don't want to start an Iowa State controversy, but just be a good character.
Yeah.
Don't strut around and think you're the greatest thing ever. Be a good human, because so many people look up to these athletes. Like, just be good. And I saw a really good example of that recently. I'm going to tout it a little bit. The Iowa State Cyclones
All right.
have a female basketball player named Audie Crook, and I recently listened to one of her post-game, the press conference. She's my hero now.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
There's another one in this state on the other team that everyone else is following. I'm not going to bash her, but I think maybe they need to look over to Ames and go, oh, this lady's got some serious character. She prays before the game. She lost her dad in high school. She's very focused. She's fun. She always looks happy. She has good nonverbals. That should be our role model. Nothing against the one that plays on everybody else's favorite team. I don't really like her style, to be honest. She's good. She's really good.
Very good.
But I love number 55 for the Cyclones, just based on what I heard in a 3-minute interview recently. It was powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the same one, and just strong character. Strong character. So we can agree on that. We can agree when we find good people in this world that we can say that they're good people regardless of what team they play on. I'm one of those guys where, even if my son's running up and down the basketball court against, a kid that we know, right? And he's playing against them. I'm the parent that roots for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, if I see somebody make a good move, I'm never going to be the one that's like, boo.
Right.
Because, like, they're kids and they're learning, and you don't want to discourage them. I mean, that's. I'm
going to take this opportunity. I always get people way off track, but I'm going to do it because you haven't told me to shut up yet about like sports and culture. And I'm going to be very careful what I say, but I do have children. I got a 17-year-old that plays basketball, cross-country track, a 15-year-old boy that he just running his life, 12-year-old 7th grader that tries every sport. She just likes to have a good time. And then a foreign exchange girl that's done multiple sports. But I'm very observant of sports culture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big runner. You know that. Please don't turn this off if you're listening and like, oh gosh, it's one of these freak long distance runners again. Yeah, we're a little bit weird.
Gotta be.
Right.
Spend a lot of time with yourself.
Yes, I do. A lot of time talking to Jesus. But sports culture, I will promote cross country everywhere I go because of what I see. It is a positive, uplifting, supportive. We got each other's back. Yes, it sucks running 3.1 miles on a golf course. It stinks for everybody, but we cheer each other on. And I see so many other sports, high school, college, junior high, blah, blah, blah. There's so many sports where that is not the culture at all. And it is hard being a parent when one of your kids or multiple are in bad cultures. We got to do something about it as parents, as adult men. I try to, but then my wife says, you can't do anything. Just let it be. Yes, ma'am. Okay. That's why I'm married 22 years. But I love cross country. And I preach about this everywhere I go teach or talk with mental health. And it's usually full agreement. Like, oh, you're 100% right. And I say, well, why can't we make the cross country culture our culture as humans? in our workplace, in our house, in our church, in our neighborhood of support and positivity versus boo, or I'm going to blow you up.
Oh.
You suck. You should quit. You're overweight. You look the wrong way. You don't have the right last name. Just support each other, man. So go to a cross country meet if you're listening to this. They're in the fall and they're life changing.
Yeah. No, yeah. Like the rest of the people that you talk to, I agree with you 100%. I've been to a cross country meet, and there is a hard contrast between a local basketball game between two high schools and a cross country meet where everybody from all schools are there. The word that you said was boo, right? You don't hear that at cross country.
Oh, never. And I think I've had one kid told me they've had a negative experience. They said they heard someone yelling at a kid negatively. So one out of
a million,
thousands of people I've talked to, the only negative I've had, and you're going to love this, and I'm pretty sure this happened, that I didn't dream it. You do get a lot of parents, as all sports, just screaming at their kid. Faster, do better, whatever.
Let's go.
Okay. Reliving my glory days, whatever. Well, I'm hitting my glory days in my 40s because I don't care what I did at Doctor High School in the 90s. Who cares if your name's on the wall? I'm peaking now as an athlete. There's a little life lesson for people. This is that Bruce Springsteen, the Glory Days song? Man, every time I hear that, I just crack up because I know so many people.
That's awesome.
Their whole life is high school. But the only negative thing I've seen on cross country meet is you get these overweight adult men, usually, just screaming at their son or daughter to run faster. And I went up and challenged a dude once. I was like, hey, man, me and you, that tree's about a quarter mile away. I'll race you to it because I can run still. I'm not fast, but I can run all day. If you beat me, you can yell at your kid forever. But if you somehow make it to that tree without having a heart attack, which is probably what's going to happen, just tone it down a little bit. Like positivity support. You don't have to scream at him because you obviously can't walk 10 feet yourself without getting out of breath. This is not a bash at obese people, whatever. Just don't be screaming at your kid to do something that there's no chance you can do it yourself.
Wow. How did he react?
Yeah, I don't know if he swung at me or kind of like red face, like, oh, what? Like if you can't, I know there's a lot of coaches that are not in good shape and they're fantastic coaches, but I'm kind of a firm believer. Some kid's not going to do something you tell them to do unless you can kind of do it yourself. I'm a big fitness dude, etc., but I'm not going to scream at my kid to run faster unless I can still run fast, which I can still do. But I don't scream, I just yell, go, good job, keep going, looking good, or yell what place they're in. But don't be...
Encouragement,
not,
yeah.
Here comes Bobby Knight after you, who was a really good basketball coach. But if you can't do a little bit of it yourself, don't be screaming at your kid to do it.
Correct.
It drives me crazy.
Correct.
So cross country is the greatest sport on earth. There's a wrap.
Oh, all right. I'm with it. All right, man. Just to get into some of the thick of it, I suppose. What put you on the path that you're on now?
Ooh, this is where the extended starts. So I kind of took you off track from the upbringing because I wanted to talk about college athletes in cross country, which is fine.
As dads, isn't that what we're just conditioned to do?
Oh yeah. So growing up, I mean, it was good. Your whatever Midwest life, very strict faith-based family. You know, my older brother, very biblical, Old Testament rule, maybe a little over. My dad knows this. We've had talks. He knows there's been mistakes. And as I said, I make mistakes too. I love my dad. I'm sure he's going to listen to it. He's my hero. He knows that. But like we didn't have a TV till I was probably 10 maybe. So the older sibling, like TV, you're not going to have a TV in the house. You're not going to listen to FM radio. You're not going to get your ears pierced. A lot of things. Fine, it was their rules. What do you think most of us kids did that? You say don't do it, I'm doing it.
We'll find a way to do it.
For sure. But I was a pretty good kid up till sophomore year. I tried in school, very faith-based. I honestly believe Jesus Christ died for my sins. And I would read my Bible at school. I would wear Jesus t-shirts, listening to Christian music. Back in the day, like Petra. I know you're younger than me. Mylon Lefevre and Broken Heart. Striper. I'm looking for some
Striper maybe.
There you go. But I was pretty much on fire for Jesus until my friend made the choice that he did sophomore year of high school. My really good friend Roger, who I talk about all the time, everywhere, and he's kind of one of the driving forces of my life now because we're trying to help people. He made the choice in 1991 as a high school sophomore to die by suicide on January 8th of 1991. So it was a long time ago. It's 2024 now, and I talk about this all the time. I taught 4 classes this week. I'm a little drained because I gave a lot this week. But he made that choice, and actually, this is an adult podcast, and I say these things when I teach. I actually found his deceased body with his mom. I mean, as I sit here talking to you, I can remember that very traumatic event for sure, and that kind of set the course of life. Of I'm an athlete, I'm a good student, I'm a Bible thumper, we're just living, and then, whoa, this just happened. And that everything like did a 180 and turned around from there. Not to give a 2-hour version, but this is a little help to your audience, hopefully, ended up in 2 different mental health hospitals as a 15-year-old. So I had gone from the kid who reads his Bible, is happy, is competitive, works hard, all this, to I don't want to be alive. Just a total flip of character and feelings, etc. Because I was mad, I was sad, I was angry, I felt guilty, I was confused, I was depressed. Every emotion,
you were in the pit,
just coursing through your veins, and none of them were good emotions. I was so mad at God for so long. Oh, so mad. For about 15 years, actually. So that kind of changed the course of life. I don't want to speed through it too much.
No, take your time.
But that was bad. So I ended up getting hospitalized twice as a high school sophomore. The starter on the basketball team, Dunkard and Popular or whatever, one of those kids. But if anyone's listening that ever needs a pretty big level of help with their mental health, such as going to the hospital, I say do it because it helped me. It kept me alive. It kept me safe. Safe was the main thing because I was threatening suicide pretty constantly at that time. So I had a lot of people watching me. This is before cell phones, if people can relate. Before there were cameras everywhere, which there are now. But getting that level of help was important because I needed to be in a safe place. So I'm glad I did that. And then the big mistake would be, so I went and got help at 15. When do you think I went and got help again? 16? No, it was like 31.
Oh, wow.
So if there's adult men listening to this, which I think a lot of this is kind of targeted towards you, and we'll just blend right into it. Most of the suicide in the United States, the big chunk of it, as 2 Caucasian adult males are staring at each other here, is us. I'm a 48-year-old white guy, and I'm kind of right in the middle. It's kind of the 25 to 64. So a big initial message with this is if you need help, go get help. What is holding you back? Well, I'll tell you what held me back. Pride.
Yep.
Oh, man, I'm tough. I'm stubborn. I grew up on a farm. I got older brothers. I got a dad. We're tough. My grandpa can outwork all of you. This is Iowa. We're all nice to each other, but we just sweep it under the rug and we don't ask for help. And we don't talk about feelings because then that shows weakness. Well, that led to me almost being gone by suicide. Probably 10 times my brain was made up. I'm done. And one time was really close. So scrunching it down is what I always say when I teach. Just push those feelings down. You'll be fine. Well, you forget on the other side, it's tick, 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 just waiting to explode. So my manhood, my masculinity almost led to my demise, actually. So that's a huge push when I talk or teach now. Just find somebody you can talk to. If you got a dude, really good friend, talk about real stuff. We sit here all day and talk about sports and weather and our kids and our wives and this. Talk about real things. Like, hey, man, this week sucked. Will you just sit and listen to me for like 4 minutes?
Yes.
And my wiper blades came on my van recently, and I about had a panic because I was late. But now I'm better. Just talk about real stuff so it doesn't keep going downhill, deeper, deeper, deeper. And you start thinking, well, no one's going to listen to me now. I'm just going to keep withdrawing from everyone and deeper. And then your brain starts lying to you and says, you should just not be here anymore.
Yeah.
That's the only solution.
Everybody would be better off if I was gone.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. So dudes got to talk. And I love this domestic dad we've just met recently. I think a friendship's going to form deeper. I'm in your house.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yes. But we got to find a way as adult men to talk about stuff, whether that's church-based, we got to do better there. Men's groups, whether it's just, hey, me and my best buddy, I guess we don't really talk about stuff. Maybe we'll try sometime. Just like an awkward 3-minute of like, hey, man, my marriage is struggling. Will you listen to me? And feel it out, but we don't. We keep it so surface.
We're hardwired to just suck it up,
Yep.
right? And sedate it with whatever means necessary. And I think that's what happened to me at some point. I had a whole bunch of stuff that piled up from childhood trauma to middle school drama to high school stuff to right after high school stuff to all of these things that that had just compounded. And my outlet, my way to deal with that was drinking, right? And eventually, and it took 39 years, but eventually I went right into the pit because of addiction and because of all the stuff that I was trying to deal with inside of myself. And I had gone through some traumatic stuff where I had lost some people that I had leaned into in my life, and I didn't have anywhere to take it. I mean, there are resources, right? There are resources, and that's what we're both, like me and you are both in the business of being a resource, right? I don't know if it's a business, but it's an opportunity to help somebody, right? If you get stuck in the pit and it gets to a point where you're not talking about anything and nobody can relate to you because you don't give them the opportunity to.
Right.
The worst thing imaginable can happen.
I don't know who listens to this. There's got to be adult males. Just maybe challenge yourself as you listen to this of like, who is my closest friend? Well, a lot of you, hopefully you would say your wife. We're supposed to do that. I finally figured that out after like 18 years of like, man, she really is my best friend. Where I had made fun of that stuff for years. Of your best friend's your wife, you freak, whatever, man.
Yeah.
It took me like 18 years of marriage to figure that out. But think of another adult dude that maybe you go golfing with or you do whatever with. Maybe try to have a little deeper conversation next time.
And I think I think comparison is the thief of joy, to be completely honest with you. And when you have somebody that you've known for such a long time and maybe you've kept up and maybe like in terms of like financial gains or job stuff and things of that nature, I think as men, we always compare ourselves to our peers, right? And I really, truly think that comparison is the thief of joy. If somebody's your real, true friend, you can break down some real stuff to them and they'll be there for you. You know what I mean? Because it will be concerning at some point, like you have to talk about that stuff. So,
but I lived in Ankeny, Iowa for 13 years, powerful church, Prairie Ridge Church, very similar to like the Cedar Valley area where we're at, Prairie Lakes Church. We had men's groups Friday mornings. We would go sit in Hy-Vee in the restaurant area. A lot of dudes hanging out, which is good. You're supposed to kind of be studying your Bible or talking about whatever. I'm not lying, man. It took us like 51 weeks, the same group of guys, to actually say something real. Where someone said something about like, hey, my marriage is kind of falling apart. I was like, this took a year.
I'm vulnerable.
An hour a week with the same dudes to finally get to the point of like, this isn't going so well. Like, okay. That's a year, man. And there's no offense to women. I think they can do that in like 3 minutes. Good for them. Because most women that I asked are like, oh, we would have said that like at the first meeting. So what's the deal with men? Why do we do this? Why I'm talking to myself too. And you're looking at me like, this is how we are hardwired. This is how we roll. But we got to figure something out because my life is suicide prevention. God has put me on this path to help people and a whole team of people with me. we won't be able to stay alive, but a big part of that is they have to talk about how they're feeling.
Right.
So how do we take steps to do that? There's the big question.
Yeah.
It's one relationship at a time. And I have to do it too. Man, I live in Jessup. We've been there almost 5 years. I don't have that men's group like I had in Ankeny. There's not as many people at the church. There's not a lot of dudes hanging out there who are in their 40s with same stage, same age, all that stuff. I have to do better at finding dudes to surround myself with that can roll through life with me. I mean, I got my friends and stuff. And when I'm struggling, I got to talk to you. And they'll listen, which is good, but I can do better for sure. But you got to find dudes that got your back, not just, hey, we're great golf buddies and we have fun and we watch the game and we go on vacation and it's, okay, your mom just died. Do you need somebody to talk to? I'm your friend. I'll listen to you. I'll sit with you. So maybe all men listening, just challenge yourself a little bit to take an uncomfortable maybe step that you've never taken, just a little one.
Yeah.
If it freaks you out, okay, come back to your safe place or find us. Because I have uncomfortable conversations all the time.
I'm sure you do.
That's every single day.
Yeah.
But I love it because I love meeting people and I love doing life with people because I'm a mess too. If you're listening to this, don't think, oh, this dude's got it made. He's in Jessup, Iowa, and they got their foreign exchange student, their perfect 3 kids in their house, and I bet they got a tree in their yard. And they got all this stuff. Man, come live with us for a week. And you'd be like,
same
mess. Woo. You could have came to my house this morning.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a little bit ugly. We're doing life.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. So maybe a little wrap on that just challenge yourself. Take a step to get uncomfortable. Because we have to. I'm sick of people dying by suicide. Is it going to keep happening? Yep. It's going to happen forever. But any impact we can have on any human, we're going to try.
Right.
Whether it's Ryan Nesbit, Alive and Running Iowa, the church, this podcast, Domestic Dad, all these awesome groups that are trying to help people. We're just trying to influence and help people. But sometimes you got to get a little bit uncomfortable. It's the same thing as running, man. I ran 10 miles yesterday. I run a lot. Is every step of 10 miles like, oh, this is so glorious and it feels so good. And it's awesome. I mean, there's points where I'm like, I just want to stop now.
Yeah.
I'm at 6 miles. That's good enough, isn't it? Well, my brain said before I started, I'm doing 10. So I'm doing 10.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, it's
the same way in life. Brother, life revolves around running. You're going to figure that out by the time we're done.
Yeah.
It's a total parallel to life.
I've been mid-run, and you probably know this more than anybody, but you ever been mid-run and like your kidney starts hurting or something inside of your stomach starts hurting and you're like, and you somehow push through, you like push through it and then it kind of goes away and you finish what you started. And I don't think that there's anything more like empowering than that because it's like, dude, I did it. I went through the hard thing.
Oh, that's like, I'm 48. That's like every run.
I was going to say,
the first 3 miles are horrible because I'm old. The knees hurt, everything hurt. I'm getting old. But once you get past that, and you're just kind of in a peaceful zen of like, whoa, I'm at 9 mile. Like you just, whether you're watching something on TV, whether you're listening to tunes, podcasts, whether you're praying, whether you're just like staring at trees, you can just get in this peaceful, whoa, where'd the last 45 minutes go?
Yeah.
Just so peaceful. That's my thing. A lot of people, I'm not going to run, whatever. We'll find some form of exercise. We all need exercise. Or maybe reading your Bible is your running, which is maybe you're someone who reads like 10 chapters a day. Hallelujah to you, man.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time fighting through one.
Yeah.
But I'm trying. But maybe your running is we do something with our kids once a week, all the time, no matter what. Good for you. Find me because I need to do that too. So just find things peaceful that make you happy. But yeah, you got to push through the pain.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah. So speaking of Alive and running, how did that all come about?
Coffee's not quite as good when it's cold, but that's all right.
Sorry, bro. I can get another one for you.
It's still way better than what I drink at my house. Love you, dear. But it's just not very good. Oh, well. So Alive and running. Earlier I had said I had about a 15-year gap or so between seeking help. A lot of things happened fast once I came back to Christ. That was huge. Just weird things that happen because God's in control. I believe that. Do bad things still happen? Oh, every single stinking day. But I think he's in control. We found a church based on like a newspaper ad. I would laugh at that now, but it worked. We were like, oh, we should go try this place. That was one way of getting help. I found a suicide loss support group, which was a huge way of getting help for me. And these things exist all over Iowa, all over the Midwest, all over the United States of America. You just get on your phone and Google suicide loss support group. Huge help to me in West Des Moines, Iowa. It's essentially a grief group. You sit around a room and everyone there has lost someone to suicide. We're like AA or something. Everyone there is trying to recover from drinking, suicide loss support, or NA, Narcotics Anonymous, suicide loss support group. Everyone has lost someone. So you got the same thing in common and you're doing grief together, which was powerful, absolutely powerful. Because I think for about 15 years, I thought no one on planet Earth understands how I feel. I actually thought no one hurts as bad as me. That's a little bit weird because his parents lost him and his brother lost him and my classmates lost him. But it was this, oh, poor, pitiful me. I have the most pain of anyone on earth. This group opened my eyes pretty quick, like minutes of like, whoa, there's other people. And now 15, 18 years later, man, I know thousands of people that have lost somebody to suicide. They're my family. We try to take care of each other. They're everywhere.
You find some community.
Oh, for sure. Because we know you got to do life together because they're going to hit bumps in the road, especially if it just happened recently. Christmas is going to be hard. Their birthday is going to be hard. Thanksgiving, etc. We just take care of each other. And all that coming together kind of spurred, we need to do something. And that's kind of where Alive and Running Iowa came from. Me, wife, Troy Belmer, who's a classmate, class of 93, and his wife sat together in tiny little Fairbank, Iowa, and thought, what can we do? And for a little humor, Troy, I hope you don't get mad at me, but I think most people know we stole the name. I'm just going to say it. We stole the name. Like, we need a name. We're going to have a nonprofit and help people. What would our name be? And I think the wives were like going on the computer and they're like, Alive and Running. And we're like, that sounds perfect. And they showed us and like, this is an event in Los Angeles. And like, they'll never know. We're in Iowa. So
That's awesome.
Totally stole the name, made our own website, which I think my wife did. It looked like a third grader did it. It was terrible.
That's how they all start.
The LA people found us, found out. I think legend has it they were having like some big board meeting and they had just redone their website and they popped it up on the screen and it was our website in Iowa. And they're like, oh, we got to start firing some people. Like, what is this? And then my phone starts ringing. They're like, are you Ryan Nesbit in Iowa or Troy Belmer? And then we worked it out. There were no lawsuits or anything. We just had to add Iowa to our last name. So I'm very grateful for them. They could have probably imprisoned a couple of us or whatever, but
oh no,
they're raising millions and we're raising dollars, but oh well. That's how it all began. So Alive and Running Iowa, if you hear it, you're like, oh, it's just more running stuff. It's just some big running club.
Yeah, but I think that's important, right? Like the whole fact that you incorporated running with it, and I understand why now.
I love running. Belmer's a huge workout guy.
Yeah.
And I think he runs, but we stole the name. It's a total mental health suicide prevention. It's just a catchy name, Alive and Running Iowa. So that started in 2010. And we just thought, hey, we'll just have a 5K each year in tiny little Dunkerton, Iowa, and maybe a few people will show up and we'll raise some money. And they fast forward to now, I kind of call it an empire. Like it has grown so much. The message has spread. Our materials have spread everywhere I go. As I did with you, I give a bag, which is the stinking wrong colors, but I don't get to pick those. It's black and gold, of course, because we live in Iowa. There's a lot of schools. That's their colors. But we have a few pamphlets. We have bracelets. We have a really good website that's professionally managed, powerful Facebook page, Alive and Running Iowa, where a lot of people kind of help each other through that. Somebody will post something and a whole bunch of people will show up of, hey, I'm here for you, or kind of went through the same thing, etc. But we just need to keep going. and growing, which I think we're going to do this the rest of our lives. Is what we're meant to do. So
Yeah.
this little idea at a table in Fairbank, Iowa, with some high school buddies has grown into something pretty big, I think, which is good.
Yeah. Well, just to give a little background here, the first time we met was not the first time that I had heard of you. And that's because I have met people in my life that have decided to end their lives. And you came up on my radar that way. But to go back even further, your older brother is somebody who has mentored me in my life through sobriety, actually, and is a huge hero to me. So I kind of learned about you guys that way. And I just wanted to kind of just unpack that a little bit because, well, to be honest, I want to talk about who you guys help, right? Because I think, we've all, like, at some point we've met somebody who's either known somebody or known somebody who's known somebody that has taken their life.
Mm-hmm.
And my question to you is, how do you affect people's lives, and how do you help? How is Alive and Running helping people? When I met you, there was that you call it QPR training.
QPR.
Yep. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Lots of stuff to talk about.
Sorry, I probably threw like 4 questions inside of there and made 2 statements or 3 statements that, I just wanted to throw.
We'll work our way.
There you go.
Kudos to my older brother, who is a really good man.
Oh, he's awesome.
That's why I prune your trees, brother, because I respect you and I like the apples. Family. He's a really good brother. I'm lucky. Who do we help? Man, we're trying to help ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not considering suicide at 48. I love my life.
Yeah.
But I have mental health. You have mental health. Everybody has mental health. So there's a big step. Every human has to realize, oh, I have mental health? Yeah, you do. And everybody's going to have mental health struggles. Everybody. It's just a lot of people, it goes to the point of having thoughts of suicide. I'm supposed to tell you that 17 million people per year in the U.S. have thoughts of suicide. Okay, that's a big number. I think it's probably times 10 of that. 170 million. I meet people almost every day that have had thoughts of suicide, and I'm not a counselor or therapist. People just tend to come to me like a magnet, and they do the same to Belmer and to other people in the helping community. We're just trying to help everybody. I teach classes. We're trying to teach people, here's maybe what you should look for. Changes in behaviors, the way people communicate. If you read a snap and you're like, oh, that's a little disturbing. Our push is say something, not, oh, they'll be okay by tomorrow.
Right.
Or, oh, an expert has to deal with this. We got to get them a counselor or therapist. Well, good luck in the Midwest or even the U.S. because you might be talking 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
Wait time. The push is we're all humans. We can all help each other. So I just read a scary snap or I noticed something about someone. I'm like, that's not usually how they act.
Right.
Step up. You be the one. Lovingly. Say, hey, I read your snap. It kind of concerned me. Or, hey, man, you've had a beard like the last 25 years, and all of a sudden now you don't. Is something going on? That's a huge behavior change. So the challenge is every human steps up lovingly and caringly. So the more people we can get to do that, I think you can take first steps of helping people not keep going down, and withdrawing. QPR, that's for everybody. We teach it down to 7th grade.
What does QPR mean?
Question, persuade, refer. It's usually a 2-hour class. The question is simply, are you thinking about killing yourself? I'm trying to get as many people as possible to say that to other humans in a real way.
Yeah.
Because not enough people say, oh, I could never say that question out loud. Then find somebody who can.
Right.
Because we got to ask hard questions. But the bad thing about that question is I think most people lie right to your face. Hey, brother, are you thinking about killing yourself? And I fully know you're struggling. You did some things, etc. This is hypothetical. You're the only one in the room, so I have to look at you.
Yep.
And you would say, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Fine. Okay. I don't believe you, man. I'm going to stay with you for a while and keep you safe, and maybe you just want to talk to me. So we want to ask hard questions, but I'm also telling you, I think 80% of humans are going to lie to you. So we have to take another step of like, okay, I hear you say no, that you're fine. I'm kind of concerned about this snap you sent, or I'm kind of concerned about these behavior changes. Can I just stay here with you for a little bit and keep you safe? Because I'm worried about you. And hopefully that's a little bit of an open door of like, oh,
I'm not going to get rid of him.
Nesbit just called my bluff, and like he's sitting here, or whoever.
And you know, the psychology of somebody that does actually have something on their mind at that point in time, there is a high likelihood that they will eventually open up. They just need some time to do it, because immediately those are their thoughts and they get defensive about sharing them. I didn't want to tell anybody that I was having thoughts like that. I was terrified to tell anybody. What are the repercussions of speaking out about that? Am I going to be hospitalized? Is somebody going to come get me? No, I'm in control. I don't want to give anybody else that control, right? So,
control, the big, strong, manly word. Yeah, for sure. So asking the hard question, that's a big part of it. Persuade. Yeah, that's all about listening. Listen some more. With all these people that have thoughts of suicide, I mean, if you're listening to this, odds are you've bumped into someone this week that is having thoughts of suicide and you have no idea. That's just the odds, the amount of numbers. But listen to people. And this is a kind of a direct for the adult men. I'm not going to say his name, but a few years ago, I got to sit with a dude who life wasn't going real awesome and had actually attempted suicide recently. And he reached out and said, I want to talk to you. We just sat by a pond, watched the dude smoke cigarettes. He just verbal vomited, which is what verbal vomit, all the garbage, a lot of stuff. I just sat there. It wasn't, well, I'm Ryan, the expert, and here's what you need to do.
Yeah, get away from that.
Just sat there, like, for a long time and just listened. And then was it, oh, life is perfect now? No. His life's way better, though. He's made a lot of changes. The church has been a huge help for sure. That was just a part of the process. All I did was show up and listen. Just listen. Not, I'm here to fix you, man. I just listen. So we need to do better at that.
Yeah, creating space for people is one of the single greatest gifts that you can give them. Just give them some space in your life. You know what I mean? Just give them some time. You know what I mean? Like, that's really, like, I always tell people the real reason people drink is because they're lonely. Right? And sometimes people are just lonely and they need to let it out. And if you can create some space for them, you're giving them, like, maybe one of the single best gifts you can give anybody.
For sure.
Some camaraderie, you know?
Oh, we need each other so bad. There's probably introverts listening. I don't understand that world because I actually do like being around people now, but you need people. That's why that whole thing that happened 4 years ago in the whole world has caused a serious mental health problem. That's going to last for generations. Physical health, hey, everyone's got to stay away from each other for X amount of time. But for the mental health of human beings, that is the worst thing you can do. And we tell the whole world to stay away from each other. Yikes. That's not a good thing.
That created a lot of problems in my life. I mean, a lot of boredom, a lot of loneliness. You know what I mean? And we're not built to be apart, man.
Well, I love you kids if you're listening, but that was stressful all of a sudden.
Right.
Oh, they're in the house all the time and they're learning at home.
Do you remember that? Like, you had to get them set up on a computer and they were doing these like assignments and you were working next to them? Holy smokes.
I think my son kept getting in trouble because he was like watching YouTube videos. I was like, I know, kid, just get the stupid half-hour of work done. You don't have to go to school 8 hours, but I think I ran a lot that year.
Yeah.
Just, I love my family, but get out of my house. Like, I need some room. And we're always here. Oh, we can't go outside. It will get us. Like, okay. I'm going out to run. See ya. Yeah. Oh, my COVID memories.
Yeah. That was a different thing, man.
So that all started with listen. Just listen. You don't have to have the answers. Man, there's a lot of time I'm with students, whoever, and I'm listening. And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to have the perfect answer because they just stopped talking. I just say like, I hear you. This sounds like it's going horrible. I'm listening to you. I hear you. Not, here's what you need to do. I don't always remember. These are the steps you're supposed to go through and say. Just sit and listen to people is huge. I think a lot of people that are struggling aren't even suicidal. They just want somebody to listen to them.
Yeah.
And no one ever makes the time. Or they don't take the opportunity to have someone listen to them. Here's your chance. Nope. We're not going to talk. But listen to people and then try to draw hope out of people is a big part of that. A lot of us in this world, with a nonprofit for suicide prevention, obviously we're trying to help people, but we can't force hope on people. And that's a big mistake people make is if I'm talking to some dude and he tells me his life story for 2 hours, chain smoking cigarettes, my job is not to go, well, you need to do this, do your little checklist.
Somebody once told me that transform is the enemy of conform, right? Which if you try to force somebody to transform, like conform to something, they can't do it on their own, right?
Mm.
So instilling hope, what you just said, is extremely important. Like it can happen.
Oh, for sure. It's baby steps. People have to decide why they want to be alive. Like if you want to die by suicide, I'll sit with you, listen to you, whatever, but I need to hear a couple of reasons from you. It could be as simple as this is real too. People die by suicide because their sports team is doing bad. This has happened. So a flip side, a hope would be, don't you want to watch your team play in the tournament or the whatever? Or, oh my gosh, Iowa has a new offensive coordinator now. They're obviously going to be 12-0 and they're going to make the playoffs this year because they should have made it every other year, right? Hockey, yeah, whatever. But some people,
man, your hate for the Hawkeyes is real, isn't it?
But some people, that's one of the big hopes in their life. So it's like, hey man, don't you want to be alive in September? Because that's when football starts. Oh yeah, okay. Let's find something a little bit stronger than a college football team. But like,
Yeah.
Hey man, isn't your daughter like 16? She's probably going to get married someday. Oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. It's going to be so. Okay, well if you kill yourself, you're not going to be here for that. Oh yeah, that makes sense. We're like, hey man, don't you like? I notice you talk about your job all the time. You seem to really enjoy it. Yeah, I do. I want it. You're going to need to be there Monday, right? Yeah.
Mm.
So you're not forcing it on people. You're just trying to draw it out of them. I think everybody has hopes, hundreds, thousands. They just sometimes don't see them. And I've been there where everyone else would look in and go, oh man, you got all this stuff and family and all blah, 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 blah. And you're just in a pit of misery. And you're like, the only thing I want is to not feel this way anymore. And the only way to do that is to not be alive. To where you have, oh, I got to breathe a little bit. Oh, there's something I like. Or, man, my brother is awesome. Or my sisters, or my other brother, or my aunts, uncles. I do have good friends. Or, holy cow, we're having pizza next Tuesday at school. Pizza is the bomb at Dunkerton School.
Yeah.
I must be there to get that sweet big rectangle piece of pizza in 1992.
Man, I know exactly what you're talking about because the school I went to had the same big rectangle piece of pizza and it was so good. Just fire.
Where do we, like, we should start like a business. Do they even make those anymore?
That pizza would sell.
Oh, I could get wealthy.
On the old, like, cookie sheet pans, that's how they used to make them? Yeah. Yeah. Big rectangles. Oh, man.
Oh, and then the R, refer, as we're wrapping up the QPO. It's just what are the resources? So wherever you live, there's resources. There's mental health resources everywhere. If you have no idea, 988, get to know that number. That's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. 988, you can call or text 24 hours a day. Most of the people who call or text that, actually, I think about 97%, it is not like a life-threatening moment. I think most people have a stigma about that of, oh, if I call that, I have to be like standing on a bridge ready to jump. That's very minimal amount of calls or texts. Most of them, a lot of them are like, hey, today sucks.
Yeah.
I just want somebody to talk to for a few minutes. I think today can suck for pretty much every human.
Yeah, you're not going to get put into a national database if you call that number, right?
Right.
It's literally somebody's just there to talk to you if you're going through some tough stuff. You're not going to get in trouble. Nobody's going to
It's confidential.
Yeah, it's confidential, right?
It's free. I know a lot of people that use it, which is awesome. And it's not, oh man, if I text that instantly wherever I'm at, I'm going to hear sirens because here comes the ambulance. Well, if you threaten suicide, they're gonna. But if you're just like, hey, I just need to talk to somebody, the cops are not going to show up, or the ambulance. So it's a great tool to use, 988. Wherever everybody, I mean, we're in the Cedar Valley, Iowa. There's a lot of resources around here. We got Black Hawk Grundy Mental Health, Pathways, Elevate. Elevate's got some awesome people. We have hospitals with beds. There's a ton of churches. So there's resources, but there's also a lot of people struggling in the Cedar Valley. I hate to ruin hopes and dreams, but there's never going to be enough resources ever. So we got to take care of each other. If you need counseling or therapy, please get it. Oh man, I got to wait like 8 weeks. Okay, get on the list or get your appointment set. But you better surround yourself in that 8 weeks with people that will help you and take care of you. Use 988. Talk to your friend. Actually talk to your pastor. Whatever you got to do. Start exercising.
Right.
Watch funny stuff. Eat that rectangle pizza. Whatever brings you joy, go do it. So refer resources. We always want to be hopeful, but there's never going to be enough resources on this planet with the amount of people struggling with mental health now. It's just going to get worse, worse, worse. I hate to make this depressive, but it is. It just is. It's a tough world right now.
Yeah, and Alive and Running is a resource, right? And by the way, speaking of Alive and Running, you guys actually do a 5K every year, right? When is that? When does that come up?
I still should have looked. It's always Father's Day weekend. I think
so. In June.
I think Father's Day is early this year. June 15, I think, is a Saturday. Father's Day is always a Sunday.
Yeah.
The 5K is always the day before. So if you can never remember the date, much like me, the co-director, it's always a day before Father's Day. So Saturday morning, Dunkerton, Iowa. We haven't even started registration yet. We usually do that in April. I think it's like $15. This is the cheapest 5K on planet Earth. If you show up, have to get a 2X t-shirt or larger, which costs more, eat a lot of food at the finish, drink a lot of water and Gatorade, we actually lost money on you. We are not, this is not, the nonprofit's getting wealthy off $15. We keep it low so everybody can attend. Actually, if you win the race, you get a brand new pair of shoes too. So then you're like $200 up on us or whatever. But it's cheap. If for some reason you had a big family and you're like, we don't have $140, Nesbit, Belmer, someone are like, we got you. Don't worry. You can come do it. Don't let the 5K scare you. Oh, you have to run. And no, most people walk, actually. And I think now we're even doing, much to my chagrin, a 1 mile option where you can shortcut.
And you're just like,
Yeah, just stay. If you do that, stay out of the way of the runners, because there are some people at the front, including my son, who are like, I must get my personal best today. And if there's a line of ladies just walking, yapping away, and they get in front of him, you're going to get plowed because
they're going for it.
He's going for the finish line. So come support. I mean, some people cry. There's laughter. There's some music in the background. Some of the Dunkerton churches, led by the First Baptist Church, they show up with enough food to feed an army. And it's like breakfast. It's not like, pancakes, bacon, eggs. It's not a meal. It's a post-run, like granola bars and there's so much food and chocolate milk, and there always is way too much. So you can come just gorge yourself on food after the race. So it's a lot of people that come together, a very good community event. But we love to see people there. I mean, it's for suicide prevention awareness. We might even have an auction again this year, a quick one. My dad, he likes doing that.
He does the auction.
He does it in English, unlike what I just did. That's a quick way to raise money fast, because then people will give like $400 for a $37 John Deere tractor or something. Yeah. And the money all gets used to try to help people. So that's Father's Day weekend. The night before, which is Friday night, is kind of the emotional night. Most of the people that come then have been impacted by suicide. So we always have a guest speaker. I think we're keeping it indoors this year. We're making some last minute decisions. That's a powerful emotional night that if suicide has impacted you, I recommend coming. You're going to meet new people. You're going to meet people maybe even from some other states. There's a lot of hugging, there's a lot of crying, but there's also laughter too, because we're humans and we're just trying to take care of each other. So I wouldn't miss that if you have the opportunity.
Yeah. And as you know, if you're somebody who has considered suicide and things of that nature, come see the impact that it's had on other people's families as well, right?
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, suicide has huge impact, depending hundreds, teens, tens, hundreds, what it depends, how many friends, family, what community you live in. But when Roger died in 1991, a small town Iowa farm kid, that's probably over 1,000 people impacted, because that's huge when a youth does it. But yeah, keep looking up Alive and Running Iowa. The Facebook's good, website's good. We'd love to see people there in person. But that's kind of our Super Bowl event. And somehow we magically do raise money, because I don't know how, because it's $15 a person and that's about what all the stuff's worth. But a lot of people write big checks, which we love. And it's all being used to help people. I make zero. When I teach, I get paid by many different organizations, grants, nonprofits, etc.
Sure.
But all the work Belmer, Nesbit, our whole crew, families do for Alive and Running, we maybe take like one free t-shirt a year. Like, ooh, we're rolling in the money. I got an $8 t-shirt. It's an investment of time, and that's what we think we're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
It's just trying to help people. And I think we are. We are expanding. We're getting more people. And if you're listening to this and you're young, I'm 48, we need young blood. Because fatigue is real. I'm living life too, with kids at home and being a youth group leader and having other jobs that actually pay. Like, we want a bigger army and we need a youth movement, because eventually I'm going to be in heaven someday. Probably would. I don't know. I'm pretty, this body's had some hard years. I probably got a good 20 left in me. I'm going to keep running. But we need youth to do this, because you have so much more energy. And you're on Twitter. Nesbit's not, or Instagram or whatever. I refuse to be. But that's where people are at. So we have to meet them where they're at. So, yeah, Alive and Running Iowa is a good thing. I love it. The worst thing about Alive and Running Iowa is our colors.
Because they're the Hawkeye colors. Home state, baby. Yeah. Home state. State, home team, right? Not the home team for you. Okay. What's your hope? So I just got a couple things left. What's your hope for the work that you're doing for our community?
Let's just impact as many people as possible.
Yep.
I fully realize, I probably realized 6 or 7 years ago, people are going to keep dying by suicide. I think I was running around thinking I was a step below Jesus, and Ryan Nesbit and Alive and Running are going to save everyone. And then you hear about a suicide and it's got to go faster, got to work harder, etc. Which is a lot of what I do now too. I'm rolling pretty hard, but I know people are going to die by suicide. But I'm going to do everything I can to stop it.
Yeah.
Alive and Running is, Belmer is,
Get
our
involved.
Family is, our church is, our community, our whole big Alive and Running Iowa family. We're going to try to impact as many people as possible. So that's always the goal. Well, how can we make impact? When I'm at a school teaching QPR and a couple kids want to stay after and talk to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go sacrifice. I'm going to stand there and listen as long as you want.
Create some space.
Oh, I just missed my kids, whatever. Bummer. There's going to be 7,000 other sporting events. Oh, and now I won't have time to run today. I'll run twice as far tomorrow. You got to sacrifice. So impact. And I'm seeing it, man. Look, it's real. I was at some schools recently and kids are attempting suicide.
Wow.
And this is in Iowa, and that stuff can eat me up or it can fuel.
Oh man, that's just got to be the hardest thing when you hear about kids.
Oh, for sure. Because if I'm no expert, but I think you're 24, 25 before your brain develops. So these, we were
maybe older. Somebody told me 28 one time.
Well, I'm 48, and it's like 90% there.
Yeah,
I think we're getting close. But we were high schoolers once. Didn't you think the world revolves around me and I know everything, much like the children I'm raising? You know a little bit. but maybe you can learn something from me, because maybe you can learn something from Uncle Rich, who's done there, been there, seen it, had it, so wise. But they're not even making it out of the first quarter.
Right.
You stay in the game. Oh, everything sucks and this, and I'm gonna feel like this way the next 60 years. Just breathe, kid. Like, you're not, but your brain is telling you it's gonna feel this way forever. Just breathe a little bit. But then for adults, because I don't want to talk too much about teens, because it's the adult men that are dying by suicide.
Yeah, but adult men are also fathers, right? And they they have children. So what are some things that you would give as far as advice for fathers to make sure their homes are safe, to make sure that their kids are safe?
That's a great question, which is a huge part of the QPR training. Stick with me here. This isn't Ryan Nesbit anti-weapon, anti-Second Amendment. Right. Oh boy, here he goes. Let's get political. This is, you need to have a safe home. So the home I live in, I don't own weapons. Number one reason for that is what I saw at age 15. That was a big thing. And number two is, I don't think we need weapons on 2nd Street in Jessup, Iowa. If we get attacked, man, I'm giving my 17-year-old daughter the baseball bats. Say, go to town, Liv.
Good luck.
Let that anger out. No burglars ever coming in. But if you live in a home and you're listening to this, and you don't have to have a loaded weapon out every night for the safety of your family, because there's some neighborhoods where you probably have to have that. But if you're in a pretty safe neighborhood, the weapons have to be locked up if you got people under age 18. And the preference is the ammo is locked up somewhere else. That's 2 different places. Because I firmly believe seconds, like 1, 2, 3, can save lives. So if a human being is so intent on, I'm about to kill myself with my weapon, I'm going to get it, and you have to unlock something here and then go to a different room in the house to get your ammo, you've just created this 3 or 4 minute journey versus just grabbing the weapon that took 2 seconds. Goodbye, world. Seconds can save lives. And the same thing with medications. I know a lot of people are on medication, depression, anxiety. That's fine if it helps you, but I meet way too many humans that have a pharmacy in their house or in their backpack at school. It's like, whoa,
right?
This is more pills than the Jessup, Iowa pharmacy, and you're carting it around. Like, man, that is way too easy of access. So we want to try to have safe homes if possible. The weapons is the big one, because that's over half of suicide loss is with a gun.
Okay.
So we can do a lot about that. And if you're still listening, this is not anti-gun. My gosh, I'm Buchanan County, Iowa. People hunt. I'm in the minority probably by not owning weapons, and that's fine. There's enough people that have guns to protect me. But we want safety. And to bring that one home, it's one of the reasons I'm alive, because the times when my brain said, goodbye, world, if I had way easy access, the gun's right there, see ya, I'll be gone. Right. I'm sure of it. I had to take time to, okay, what am I going to do? Oh, I actually have to go somewhere? I'm too lazy to do that. I'm not going to kill myself today because I'm just too tired. That's real. But if we have too easy of access, I fear we lose people pretty quick. And I think that's one of the reasons it's only about 20% of people that die by suicide actually leave a note behind, because it can kind of be impulsive. Yeah, they've been struggling, whatever, and it's building up. But I think a lot of people at the end, it's just a quick impulsive.
It's a split decision, like,
Yep, gone. So if we have safer homes, maybe we can keep them around a little bit longer.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
we
that's
can
huge.
Give them some help, etc. So this is a big one for adult men, especially veterans. I did not serve military. The military people, a lot that I know of, man, their weapons are like a child member. Like, you're not going to take my guns away from me. Okay, how can we make your home safer? How can we get you to actually talk to people, meet with a group, etc.? And then one last tip about weapons. This is for anybody. I think wherever your weapons are, safe, storage area, case, on display, that's where you should put your family pictures. The people who mean the most to you. Your dog, a picture of your dog. Your blessed picture of the Iowa Hawkeye women's basketball team, whatever makes you happy, put that by the weapon. So maybe there's just a little pause of, oh, I do love my dog.
Yes.
Or, man, the game is next week. Or, oh man, my family. any steps we can do. So just safety in the homes is huge, but a lot of that revolves around weapons. But there's little things you can do for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great lesson and a great thing to just take with you as you go.
Let me hit one thing about the parenting, because whoever's listening, I used to be a stay-home dad. So any adult men listening right now are like, sissy.
Yeah.
Well, you try it sometime. That was probably the hardest job on earth because it's constant. Best job on earth for sure. But man, I changed a lot of diapers. Holy cow. What an awesome job. What an awesome way to connect with your kids. Was there a lot for me of like, well, I'm not really a man. She's making more than me and look at me. Well, my wife makes way more than me on income at 48. And I think we're pretty successful. I have to have 3 jobs to her 1, and she's still crushing me. So good job, baby. I'm married well. Thanks for staying with me.
Thanks, sugar mama.
I love you. But to be honest about that, I'll be careful with this. I would like her to find a different job at some point because she has a huge volunteering heart. And what she does as an accountant is not helping any humans. Maybe the people she works with, but we really have to think and pray about that.
You want her to align more passion with purpose?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got to have money. You got to have insurance. You got to have 401k. We got kids in the house. Things break. ACLs blow out. Deductibles have to get met. Piece of crap cars are bought that leak everywhere. Windshield wiper blades fly off in the morning. We're living life. There's bills. But it gets to a certain point of what can we do to help more people? So if staring at a computer 10 hours a day or 11, making money, but it's not really impacting lives. So that's something we've discussed it a little bit. And when you're listening to this, you can be like, why are you telling all these people our personal stuff? We do need to talk about this because we're coming up on 50 and you don't want to hit 60 and like, why did I just work? And why? We could have been impacting. I often say we need to go live in a tent in a third world country. I'd be pumped about doing that.
Yeah. I can relate to that simply because I think at a certain point in my life, I was like, I've gone out, I've done the thing that I was doing. Right. And I'm not saying that I'm done doing the thing that I was doing. I'm just saying that I wanted to have more of an impact towards like for myself to have a little bit more purpose, if that makes sense. And I think every person needs a little bit of that. Do what you're passionate about. That's authentic.
Oh, it took me till my 40. I love my job. My 3 paying jobs are corn detasseling. Oh, this is a crazy man talking. That's what I love being out in a cornfield in July, Iowa. If you're not in the Midwest, Google it. It's hot, it's humid, but I make money, but I love being in charge of teenagers and teaching them life skills and showing them, hey man, you can do this. You can get your butt out of bed at 4 a.m. You can work when it's 93-degree heat index. You can make it through the day when your brain is saying, quit. I hate you, Nesbit. I want to quit. So I love that job. I love teaching. I get paid to teach classes. And then in the winter, I work for UPS for about 6 weeks. I love all my jobs, but it took till my 40s to be I've always loved detasseling. But so if you're listening and you're young or whatever, and like, this job sucks, I can sit here for 10 minutes and name all the crappy jobs I've done in life.
Yeah.
Find something that you enjoy and hopefully it like impacts other people. Delivering boxes for UPS in the winter, temporary, whatever, 6-week employee.
For Christmas presents.
Yeah. People will start talking and they're like, what do you do the rest of the year? I'm like, I teach suicide prevention classes. And they'll go, oh, my uncle killed himself like 12. I'll stand at people's houses and talk to them for like a half hour. So delivering boxes for UPS can impact people's mental health. A, they're getting all their presents delivered to their house. And B, people have real conversations when they're like, you teach suicide prevention classes? Yeah. And it's like, here's the open door. I'll start talking to this guy. So it's awesome. So yeah, if you're listening, you hate your job, breathe, talk to your spouse, talk to whoever. But it took me till 40s. But I love all my jobs. Absolutely love them. I'm so blessed. And my wife still makes way over double what I make. And guess what? I don't really care. I'm a man. I changed the diapers. I did what I did. I can run 31 miles at once, so eat it.
I Oh, speaking of changing diapers, I was reading an article the other day, and there was like this third world country, and they started this program, and there was a bunch of dudes standing around like this van, and they had a diaper changing session for all these guys in this third world country, and everybody was like, as the reporter like reported on it, right, in the article, he was like, old men were walking by and adjusting their glasses. Women were gasping, like clutching their pearls, going, oh, what's going on? And it was this van, and this guy was going around and brought all these dads in to change diapers. And it was like, and they were getting advice on how to do it correctly, because some, like in this country, and I think it was like Colombia, like it wasn't normal. You know what I mean? But they were like, hey, we got to get men more involved in this, and they don't know how to do it. Let's teach them how to do it. So that was their mission, to go and teach guys how to do that, which I thought was awesome, because I think as a domestic dad, right? Like as somebody like as yourself, you know, like you get engaged with your kids, you do all the parenting things, and you have this whole skill set, and you're like, man, you know, this is like, I'm a part of this family. I'm not just one who sits over here quietly. You know what I mean? I'm engaged, and I think that's an important thing to remember about what we're doing.
Well, I could teach some diaper changing classes. It's been a while though, but you know, man, I go back to those. There's so many diapers, but when they like sit on your lap or say I love you or giggle or will sit and watch Toy Story with you, I love my teenagers, but I would go back to the littles. Oh, it's so much better.
Yeah.
But they'll get through this someday, maybe have kids, and then we get to be grandparents, hopefully. Teenagers are rough, man. I love you kids if you're listening, but the little toddlers are so fun.
Yeah.
So if you are raising littles, because I used to think, when are we ever going to get through this, and this sucks, and it's bad. Don't wish your way through it.
No.
Because they develop attitude.
Yeah, I've got a 21-year-old son who's an awesome human being, by the way. It's a full-time job. He's out of the house. He's, you know, he's had a girlfriend for a long period of time. And just being a man. I've got a 12-year-old who's kind of getting into the preteen stuff. And I'm like, I just know the shit show that's coming right now. You know, like I just know. I've been here before. This is hard. And I've got a 4-year-old who challenges me, who will be like, Dad, come play with me. You know what I mean? And it's just like, there's just a lot of, it's just how do I want to say this, Ryan? It's just an incredible opportunity to be a dad. It really is. And take your time and be with them, you know, stop doing what you're doing from time to time and sit with them and play with them, because you're not going to get those moments back. I think back about that all the time. With my oldest, you know, just create good memories in them.
Oh, you're nailing it. I'm feeling guilty because do it when they're small, for sure. Hopefully when they're teens, they're not going to want to do anything with you, because I miss that feeling. Could I do better now with teens and a 12? Yeah, but they don't want to sit and watch a movie. They don't want to throw the ball around.
Right.
So I tried to do as much as I could. Man, I miss those days because it's awesome. There's such connection. So finding connection when they're teens that know everything is hard.
Yeah.
And I thank you for doing it, because there's something going on inside me right now, sitting here like, I got to do better. Maybe I'll start today. We're all going to watch the Cyclones together.
I do too, though, man. I think last night my wife came down and opened the door right there, and she looked at her watch and she goes, "It's 7. Come on." So I think we all got to do a little bit better of that, you know, to mind ourselves and our families. So, yeah.
Challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But we got work to do too. So, what's your favorite part about being a dad?
We'll start with a little humor. I think I just said this to my son yesterday. He's 15. His main focus in life is running. He focuses on it too much, and we know it. It's become his idol and his God. But man, it's fun watching him work hard. Yeah. But I said to him, I'm sorry, daughters, but I said, you do know you have to keep the family name going because you're my only son. But I said, if your first kid's a boy, you should stop. This was literally like yesterday. I love it's just the level of drama, man, but it's the same there's boys that call his drama too, but he's just so kind of laid back and he lets them bicker and just do your thing. You do have to keep the family name going, Will, because the Nesbits are a proud heritage.
Right.
I love when they laugh. You miss a lot of it when they're little and you hear like a kid laughing. It's just like, it's like angels singing or something.
Yeah.
So now we're at maybe laughter where you actually see a smile because they go through stuff and it's, oh, they're mad about this, and you see a smile and you just got to like gobble it up like, oh, there we go. So when they're happy, the goal, I want our kids to be happy. That's the goal. So if they came in here a couple minutes and be like, my dad sucks. I'm like, okay, that's reality. But if you had a clue how much I love you. Oh. So a lot of times when I teach, I'm asking about when are my kids again going to get back to the point of like, I love you. Specifically the females. And a lot of these moms are like, you got a ways to go. But I crave that day of one of these, all of them. Just look at, I love you, Dad. Or even better, you were right. Because I didn't do that till like 27, 28 maybe with my parents.
When your brain was fully functioned?
There was just like an awakening of, wow, I was bad. And these people went through a lot. And they could have just said, forget you. Go do it yourself. But so laughter, I think that answers just when people are happy. Oh, that makes me so happy. I just want happy kids. And it's hard to be a teen. I know specifically for females. So laughter. But it's an honor to be a dad. So they can come tell me in older age.
It's the greatest honor. It really is. I mean, I watched a meme or a video, one of those things that people put on the internet the other day, and it said something about, you'll have all these experiences and you'll have all these things to do in your life, but the memories that you create for your children last forever for them. That's where they go in their head when they go back to their childhood or they go back to something happy, is that you have the opportunity to be present for them. And that's just huge, man. That's huge, because I think about the good memories I've got with my dad, the good memories I've got with my stepdad, the great memories I've got with my mom, and all of those things. And it's like, that's what has shaped me. That's what has formed, like, you know what I mean? That's what has made me who I am. And you have a great responsibility to be that for somebody else.
Parenting's not easy. If say you're listening and you're a 20-year-old male and you've got your eyes on this pretty thing and you're going to get married and have your 6 kids, just think about it a little bit. Take your time. We can go into the financial aspect.
Yeah.
Like in the Midwest, is like $219,000 or something to raise a kid from 0 to 18. That don't count the people that pay for their kids' college. There's a big financial thing to it. Time, huge. Man, if you saw my April calendar we got kids in 5 sports, 4 kids. It's like, there goes April, but I love it. We get to go to all these things, and it's not just to watch our kids, it's to watch youth group kids and other people's kids, but it is a huge responsibility. You can't make people pass a class to have sex. I realize that. If I could institute that, I would.
You probably would, yeah.
Or I know prom's coming up for a lot of, we're going to do something at youth group. I want to
like, how do I do this right?
Baby delivery video from the 80s, and they're all jaws dropped. Just leave a little room for Jesus. I used to be a teenager too, but if you knew, like, diaper cost and time, and they're screaming in the middle of the night, and now they're teens, and it's like, you got to think a little bit before you become a parent, because it is probably the greatest responsibility, for sure.
Oh, by far.
I love you, kids. If you're listening, I doubt you listen. Well, the Spaniard probably listens. My foreign exchange girl will probably listen. But I love kids, but we mess up every day. They know that. Just do your best.
Yeah, man. You said it's the single greatest responsibility. I think that's true, because for any job out there, if we get fired or if we decide to quit, somebody else is going to get hired to do that job. But nobody else can come into your life and be your kid's father the way that you are. And I think that's just, take that all in. So, yeah, what keeps you going every day, Ryan? What really drives you every day?
Ooh. Oh, there's hundreds of things. I won't get too Bible thumpy, but it's Jesus Christ for sure.
Amen.
As we're around Easter season, but I screw up sin, whatever you call it, all the time, every single day. If I didn't have faith, which my faith is Jesus Christ, there's many faiths. Mine is the Bible. Jesus Christ came to this world as fully human, fully God, died for our sins and rose again. If I didn't have that, I'm not sure I'd be alive at 48. And if I was alive, I don't think I'd be very happy. Because this world, I see the worst probably all the time. Because I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I'm sad. Someone just died by suicide. I just attempted suicide. I want to die by suicide. I'm surrounded by sad, which I think is where I'm supposed to be, to try to help people. But man, it would just crush me if I didn't have my faith. Do I have many others? Great family, great friends, great church, great all to surround myself with good. But if I didn't have the foundation, when it starts raining, well, everything just starts to slip away. So people can look at my life and be like, he's a terrible Jesus follower. I'm not perfect at all. But at the end of the day, my faith is my foundation. And at the end of the game, we win.
That's right.
I'm on the winning team. So if you're interested in that, find us. But it's crucial. But without Jesus, I'm nothing for sure. There's the end of my preaching. My dad's a preacher, but it is just the truth. People have to know that, because this world, yikes, it will just gobble you up. Oh, it's such a bad world right now.
Yeah.
That tent in Kenya, to me, looks like a mansion. It's like an escape. Honey, when the kids are gone, let's move to some third world country and just be missionaries and have nothing. Because that sounds easy to me.
Yeah.
Like, all we do all day is tell people about Jesus, and way easy versus America. Stress, pressure, image, do this, bills, mortgages, blah, blah, blah. Tent looks awesome. I haven't got her on board yet. But
you'll get there. You just be persistent.
Keep trying.
Just be persistent.
So what keeps me going? Faith for sure, but then I'm blessed, man. I got good people in my life, good family. I love to run. I love to meet people. There's music. I just have so many things. Humor. I know my go-tos to keep myself going, and I kind of try to do them at the right time.
Yeah.
I know myself pretty well, but I'm blessed. Life is good.
Right
for
on.
sure.
Yeah. Any final motivational advice that you would give to anyone?
Runners are better people, so get off the couch. Get your body moving. If you're listening to this, you weigh 472 pounds. I bet you're an awesome human being. Maybe make a goal that by next week you weigh 462 pounds. We can all do better. Take a few steps. If your drug or addiction or whatever is McDonald's, because I could talk about that all day.
Mm-hmm.
You got your alcohol, your drugs, all this stuff. Some people's drug is fast food. Maybe don't eat McDonald's 3 times a day, 7 days a week. If your drug is, man, how many coffees have I had today? 17?
Caffeine's an issue. Yeah.
If your drug is, I might have been on Facebook today for 4 hours and 17 minutes. Maybe you need to look at that a little bit. So we can always be improving as humans for sure. I'm not where that started. What was the original question? I had McDonald's set in my head.
Any motivational advice?
Get after it. I'm 48 and it's a blink, man. There was the stay-home dad, and you're like, all right, we're living life. We're in our 30s, and I blink and I'm like 45.
Yeah.
It is so fast, and I hate when older people tell me that. Don't miss anything because soon your kids will be gone. Don't wish them away and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're right. Like it is.
100%.
Boom. I'm almost 50 and boom. So moments, savor the moments. If something awesome is happening, sit in it. Not, oh, we got to hurry. We got to do this. We got to do. I'm going to enjoy this. Slow down.
Yeah. Hey, with the whole McDonald's and addiction thing that you just brought up one more interesting point that I wanted to touch on. I don't mean to belabor the ending here, but what role does addiction play in suicide that you just with your experience?
A lot of people would say, if somebody drinks a case of beer every night for 23 years straight, that's essentially slow suicide. Like this, they have fully admitted, this is what I'm going to do every night. I know someday it's going to kill me, and I'm just going to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people will say, well, they died of slow suicide because of I can never say the cirrhosis
of the liver.
There you go. There's a lot of H's in there, I think.
Yeah, there are like weird silent ones.
So that's a thing. I mean, there's a lot going on with the overdosing. Is it the fentanyl?
Yeah.
Getting mixed in. So maybe people are just recreationally using something and something gets mixed in, and then maybe it's an accidental death. Sometimes maybe it is on purpose. A lot of those, you don't know. If there's no note left behind, it's like, ooh, did they OD? Was this an accident? Was this intentional? So it can be a big part of it. I would try to share some good news, and this is going way over. Why don't we get like an addiction for Jesus? Oh, but I'm talking to myself again, because if people know me or listening, they're like, well, that's not you 100%. No, it's not. But focus on something good and peaceful and joyful, and that will last forever. Addiction has a huge part in the suicide world, but people die by suicide that have never touched McDonald's, a drug, a drink, and anything.
Yeah.
And they become miserable and become hopeless and think the only option is to die. So,
yeah,
it's a whole lot of stuff there.
But that's why we get up and do what we do, right? Because there's an opportunity to help somebody and be a resource and create some space. So with that, man, I thank you for your time. I don't know if there's anything else you want to leave me with.
This is why life is going too fast, because I literally, my brain just like sat down, and now it's over.
That was a really strong cup of coffee, though.
And I have to pee really bad. This is a fact. But it is you look forward to something, and I think this has went well, but it just goes so fast.
It's just fast, right?
And you have to just breathe, enjoy. We'll probably talk off mic a little bit because I'm going to enjoy the time, but then it's just what's next.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's summer. So just enjoy the moments. If you're listening and struggling with mental health, 988, we cannot say that enough. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline. To some are not Bible beaten, but find you some Jesus. That is the wonderful counselor, almighty healer. Find a church that's actually real. Like a lot of people have been burnt by churches. I know that for a fact. Find a church that takes anybody, because that's what church should do.
Yep.
You can come in, hunt over out of your mind. You should be welcomed in. Not, oh, you don't look good enough to be in here. Oh, you're not one of the right last names, whatever.
Oh, you've done something so terrible that we have to stigmatize you, right? That's not good.
Maybe open your Bible once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
People casting out others. But find something. Don't just wallow alone like I did, because that's a bad place to be, especially if you're a male with all the testosterone and I'm all alone and this sucks. I guess the only thing to do is die. Don't let it get that far. Reach out to somebody. There's help everywhere. You can find us. But 988, they got to know that. The amount of people that don't know that number exists scares me. It absolutely terrifies me. So never be afraid to reach out, and I'll try to take my own advice too.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. All right. Thanks, Ryan.